there, Lisa Pizik here, business strategist, content expert, and that's what I want to talk to you about today, your content. What do I say when I mean content? Specifically, your course, video, words that you're speaking to people, that you want people to digest so that they finish what you're trying to tell them to do. They carry out that task so they can overcome that pain and get that outcome that you're trying to deliver to them. Whether that's less stress in their life, being a better speaker or presenter, getting that online course up and going, working through their relationship struggles, whatever it is, we want to give them the tools to make a change. But if we're trying to give them too many tools, too many stories, too many thoughts in a short amount of time, people are going to leave. They're not going to be successful. They're not going to digest their content. You're not going to make a change in their life, and that's going to be the end of the relationship. And let's face it, no clients, no sales, no business. So that's why your content is so important. And that's why I'm so passionate about making sure that you aren't just winging it. You are following a framework when you're teaching. Now, frameworks are also so important because when someone says, hey, can you hop on that podcast? Can you go live on that video? Can you be an affiliate with me? Can you go speak on this stage tomorrow? Can you present? When the phone, I guess we don't really talk on the phone anymore. I was going to say when the phone rings, but let's get into 2018, 2019. When the text comes through or the email comes through and people say, we want you, we need you. When you have a framework, you know you're teaching and you can deliver it in excellence at the drop of a dime. And that's what you want. I used to just wing it. Why? Because I'm one of those freaks of nature that doesn't really mind the video. I don't really mind the camera. I don't really mind being on stage. I like being in front of people. I was a fitness instructor, a group fitness instructor for many years of my life. Hey, Erica. So it never made me nervous to speak in front of people. I'm high energy, so I used to just wing it. And the problem with winging it is that there's no sequence or flow of your content. There's no sequence or flow of your story, and people have to try to pick out that one piece that you're trying to hit home with them. And when we leave it up to the user to pick out that piece, sometimes they pick out the things that they don't like. They pick out the silliest things. They pick out the point that you don't want them to get, and they miss the big overarching picture. So frameworks are so important. And let me give you a specific framework that you can use. So you open every video with who you are, what you do, and how it helps people. And the how it helps people piece is the really important part. So I'm Lisa Pizik. I'm a business strategist, content expert, and I help you take your offline business online so you can have less stress. You can put your time, energy, and money where you want it to be, and you can live a life you love, right? You don't have to be bogged down by the 9-to-5, crappy coworkers, asking permission for vacation requests that sometimes are denied. You can travel, you can live your life, you can stay home if you want in the comfort of your own home and still be making an impact and income so you can support that message and you're making the monies to be able to do that. So that's where you start. Then you say, here's your topic. Here's what I'm going to teach you today. I'm going to teach you about your course outline. Why is it so important is that next piece. It's so important because when you wing it, your shit kind of sucks. And you're leaving it up to chance that the user's getting what you want them to get. And when you're winging it, there's no range in the way that you speak to people. So my biggest problem was I always used to be up high, super energetic, and it was like, whoa, just too much for people. When I wrote it out in a script and I delivered my content, I knew where I wanted to tell stories and show my humor, where I knew I needed to be strong with people so they really got the point that I was teaching, where I knew I needed to be soft with people because I was delivering something that was going to be difficult for them to hear. So that's why you can't just wing it, because you want that range. You want people to stay. You want people to get those big points that you're trying to hone in on. So that is, you got to tell them why they need to understand it. What's the most important piece? Hey, Carla Klein Thomas, beautiful lady. Then after you tell them why it's important, then you hit them with that expert story positioning. So whether it's not yourself, a testimonial, or the reason why they need to understand this. And your story is what makes people get it. I was just telling the story the other day about the book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a, that book. It's out there. People are talking about it. And the piece that kind of bugged me was, it was a great book. And the F word doesn't bother me because I use it quite often, but he didn't tell a story until the very end of the book. And he told a story about his friend passing away. And I believe that the message was something about, like, you never know when your last moment, on earth is going to be. You never know when your last interaction with someone is going to be. So make that count. And he didn't tell that story until the end of the book. And I was like, because that was the piece that connected me to him. That was the piece that made me see that away from all the fucks and all the words and all the things, he's a human with feelings and emotions and things that he feels or things that I felt. And it's kind of banded me together, and it told me about him. It revealed his character. It revealed things that mattered to him. And I feel like if that was at the beginning of the book, I would have been so much more dialed in and tuned in. It's a great book, but I would have loved it even more if he wouldn't have put that story at the very end. So next, after you tell people why it's important, why they need to know it, why it matters, hey, Tim, then you got to share your story with people. Story in the beginning, because story is what binds you. Then you got to have a framework, which I'm teaching you right now. You got to go through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or steps 1, 2, 3, or here's the first thing you got to do. People pay for the how. They want to know, get through all the fluff. What do I need to do? Tell me what it is. Because again, you got to think about people day to day. They're being pinged and dinged, and there's all sorts of noises and people and children and just, stuff going on, that if we don't get right to the point about what they need to do, again, we're going to lose them, right? It's like, just tell me what to do. People take the action and then they get the momentum and then the results come. But it comes from taking that first step. And we waste so much time trying to get it right in the beginning that we never get to that, okay, here's what I need to do. This is what you need to do. Go do it. And then when they go and do it, they're like, oh my God, that worked. Okay, now what? And then they're in and they're listening and they're dialed in. Yeah, Carla, your story is your signature energy. I love that. Yeah, and your story can be happy. It can be sad. It can be motivational. It can be whatever it is that you want it to be. But that feeling is what draws people in, because we're humans and we have emotions and we feel. And it's one of the most beautiful ways that you can quickly connect with someone. So yeah, that story's got to be in there. Then your framework. After you teach them, you give them the one thing. What's the first thing that's going to come up in their brain? Yeah. But this and but that. And what about this? And I can't do this. And that's not possible for me. All those objections are going to pop up for them. Like, you want me to drink all this water in a day? Well, I work and I can't run to the bathroom every 5 minutes because my boss is going to get mad at me. And no. That is just an excuse, right? And it gets better over time. So you want to start addressing all those things in their head that's going to make them go, nope, can't do it. Not for me. I'm out. If you can be one step ahead and address that, people are going to go, okay, all right, she knows a thing or two. He knows a thing or two. That is my objection. Here's how I overcome it. Okay, cool. I'm willing to give it a shot. And then you got to tell them the one thing they need to go do. So go and buy a brand new water bottle if this ain't making you happy. Get some new energy, get some new color, get some new light in your life. Put it in front of you at all times and you're going to be increasing your water intake throughout the day, right? So tell them the one thing they need to go do, not 10 things they need to go do. Because again, the confused mind is like, well, what do I do first? Well, which one should I tackle? Well, how do I do that? All these questions start popping up for them. So one thing they need to do. And then lastly, you got to have a call to action. You got to tell them where to go next. You got to tell them whether it's to check out another subscriptional thing you got, like another video, a blog, a podcast, their email, whatever it is, a newsletter, or it's transactional. It's like, hey, buy this course from me. If you really like this, I've got a group coaching program. I've got whatever it is. So maybe it's buy something from you. But there always has to be a call to action at the end. Because if you've done your due diligence, if you've quickly told them who you are, how you help them, why this matters, and what that end outcome is going to be, you share that story with them, you teach them what to do, you overcome objections, you tell them the one thing they got to go do now, and then you give them a call to action at the end, they're going to be with you. They're going to stay with you, and they're going to get used to you and your teachings, and they're going to want to know what's next. So that's the framework that I want you to follow when you're doing a live video, when you're doing a blog post, when you're shooting a course video. That's the content outline that I want you to follow because it works. And we want to be moving people along, busting down that pain and having that aspiration for people and teaching them something and getting them somewhere and making the world a better place, right? That's what we're all put on this earth to do. And you have the power to do it. I'm looking at Carla's comment there, that signature energy and divine challenge. Yeah, it is a challenge that's placed in front of us, but there's no one better than you to go teach people and help people with your story, with your frameworks, with everything that you got going on. Tim, yeah, go do it, Tim says. I love it. Exactly. And maybe you got to wing it for your first video and you got to go back and look at it and go, oh, that wasn't so good. I need to go and change that, right? Because if you're stuck in perfection mode, that's a big objection you're going to have from doing this, right? If you're stuck in perfection mode, perfection doesn't exist. You got to find that happy medium between not winging it and not always striving for perfection. There's that like happy place in the middle where you got to just go do it, as Tim says. And you got to say, this is the best that I can put out right now. I'm rocking and rolling with it. The more I do it, the better I'll get. And off we go. So great advice, Tim. All right, guys, that is my Monday motivation topic for you. Head over to www.lisapiesik, just my name there, lisapiesik.com. At the bottom, you can schedule a 15-minute free discovery strategy call. I can help you, whether you want to do your next video. See, I wrote them out so I didn't forget them because I got my framework. I can help you with your next video, all of these points to make sure that you're hitting everything you need to hit to have the biggest bang for your buck and the biggest outcome for your user, for your ideal client. So if you need help with that, I'd be happy to hop on and do that with you. All right, guys, see you again next time.